Hi, this is Denise, the SongBIRD reborn and reawakened. And today I'm talking about more about narcissistic relationships. I was again married for 23 years, in and out. Um, I left many apartments to get away from him when he would become too extreme. I would not tell him, I would not argue with him because arguments only cause more stress and can actually make you sick. And basically, I only argue with someone if I feel that it's worth it to try to work it out, um, or if I feel that I have enough words to get them to understand my point of view or my side of it. Um, Basically, there have been times that a relationship was worth it for me, and I did argue, or I didn't argue, or I just said, you know what, I don't want to talk anymore because I can't get you to see what I'm saying, and it's just getting worse as far as talking. So then I would just stop talking. And sometimes that makes the abuse worse, or sometimes the person will just walk away from you because they feel that you're not putting in enough effort to contribute for the relationship to become better. Um, but with this one relationship that was for 23 years, first of all, you can tell when it's not supposed to happen if you have an argument on the fourth day that you meet the person. And that word argument, I really don't like using it because for me, everything is not an argument. Some things are disagreements. Sometimes it's a misunderstanding. Sometimes a person doesn't understand what you're trying to say. And so while you're trying to explain to them exactly what you're trying to say without any kind of uh, ridicule of or insults, and they still see it the wrong way. But in this case, in this relationship, in that relationship that lasted 23 years in and out, um, and I shouldn't say lasted, I endured it because it only went so long because every time I would get away from him, purposely move away from him, he would find me and he would come back. I started moving away from him because he would, if I told him he had to go and I made arrangements to help him to leave, he would take the windows out. He would find a window, take it out, take it apart. He was really good at that kind of stuff. Come right in, sit down like nothing ever happened. And if that didn't work, he would go to the door, one of the doors, the front or the back. And once he took the hinges out, he took the hinges out of the door because the hinges were on the outside of the door. So that's another thing. If you have an apartment that has, or a house that has hinges on the outside of the door, I suggest that you make your landlord, or if you're the owner, make sure your hinges are on the inside of the apartment, because when he took the hinges out of the door, took the door off, came right in and put everything back calmly and quietly, like everything was fine, and went and laid on my bed like nothing was wrong. My kids were mortified. I was mortified. It was horrific. So what you want to do is make sure you always have doors that have hinges on the inside. That's number one. And number two, if you have windows that are able to, the windows that they clean, that you can push them down flat, you want to always make sure you have a way that if there's for some reason you don't want somebody that you're with to get in, you want to make sure that those windows are not able to lay down and come up. Some people know how to actually to get them to open even if they're locked. So it's best to have the stick at the top of the window. If you have a fan in the window in the summertime, which is coming, then you should nail the window down where the fan is holding the, well, whatever. Just, you have to find a way if you live on the first floor. I live on the first floor most of the time. Basically, an argument to me is when two people are insulting each other, yelling and screaming and insulting each other. So some people definition of an argument is just any disagreement. And to me, that's not correct, because if that was the case, then the whole world is arguing and everybody does not think the same. So everything is not an argument, and sometimes people split apart because they're like, oh, we argue too much. No, we just don't agree on everything, and that in itself can become a reason for someone to just not have a really strong relationship, where it can just get weaker and weaker and weaker because they're thinking we argue too much, instead of respecting the fact that you don't think the same, but you're still attracted to each other. Sometimes opposites do attract a lot of the time. And on the fourth day that I knew my ex, I was talking to one of my girlfriends on the phone, and she was asking me questions about business matters. And I was explaining to her what she needed to do to get what she needed done. And when she went back to the office to tell them X, Y, and Z, which she did the next day, and it worked. But while I was explaining these things to her, he kept interrupting me. He kept interrupting me and saying, hang up the phone. You don't need to tell nobody nothing what to do. You shouldn't be giving people advice on anything. You're not a doctor or a specialist or. And I said, no, I'm not any of those things, but she's known me longer than you. And she's known me to know that about a lot of business matters. So she asks me questions. And when she takes my advice on what to do as far as business is concerned, it always works out for her. So why are you telling me what I can't tell her? And if I'm telling her anything about business, it means that I know about it. Because if I don't know about it, I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to say I don't know about it. And maybe we should call in the morning and find out. Those are always my words. Let's call in the morning and find out together. And I still do that. I've been doing that for over 30 years. I've helped many people with their business matters, and they were successful. But he disrespected me, and I saw that from the fourth day. So on that moment, when I was trying to talk to my girlfriend, and he wouldn't be quiet, and he kept insulting me. And I'm like, you just met me. Well, he met me months before that, sorry, but I wouldn't give him the time of day. But on the fourth day, after I did decide to give him the time of day, he started disrespecting me. And that's when I knew that it was not going to be good, because he wanted me to be quiet. So what was he really attracted to about me when he was chasing me for the 9 months before that? He wouldn't answer that. He wanted me to be quiet. He wanted me to stop talking. And basically, that's part of who I am. I mean, if I'm not talking, what is that? I mean, it doesn't make sense. That in itself is really horrific. And then when I would sing, he would get upset about me singing. He would say, be quiet. It's too much noise. You're making noise. Okay, that's what I do. I get paid to sing. People pay me to sing. So when I'm at home and I have to practice, little songs on my own, or I'm in the mood, if you say, well, if you're so, why are you making all that ruckus? No, I have to keep my voice tuned up Like right now, I have a couple of music videos on this channel. And I'm surprised they sound the way they do because my voice is not tuned up. Even right now, it's not tuned up. Because if you're around people, I was around him for so long telling me to be quiet that I stopped. One day I just stopped. And I was out of the habit of singing. So that's all I'm going to say right now on this video. Until another time, because I want to make my videos short, not to, some people don't have enough time to watch anything long. So I'm just going to be making videos that are 10 minutes long or 12 minutes at a time. And the moral of this story is, if you have someone that's chasing you around for months and months and months, or even years sometimes. One time it took one guy 10 years to get with me. And it's the same thing. Those are different stories. I'll get to that another time. But if they're chasing you and begging and trying to get with you so bad, and the minute they get with you, the first week they want you, or the second week, or the first month, they want you to kind of be quiet a lot. They don't want you to talk that much, or they don't want you to voice your opinion. It's the wrong guy, period. He's the wrong guy. I don't care how much you like him. He's the wrong guy. Peace, love, and light.